What's up guys, this is Dark Magician here and welcome to another KOF video. So guys, as you know, we are still waiting for the Christmas events. Most likely we are waiting to see how we are gonna get Mizuchi. But I don't know, most likely I guess Duolon will be in a way postponed until after that, after Mizuchi. I don't know, I'm expecting a regular limited draw for Duolon I guess after that. But we still can't really know much about it. But anyway, you know that Duolon and Mizuchi were the bosses that were released in the latest update. So I already made a character introduction for Mizuchi, but today it's gonna be for Duolon. So guys, as you can see, Duolon is an API 15 tank. If you go through the details, you will see a good block rate actually for him at 37%, and it can go much higher when we see it in the skills. So just a typical tank. His feature says spirit power and damage sharing, because he can share the damage that his allies can get. Okay, we will see that in the skills below. Now starting with his fates, first one we have Gentleman. We need Duolon, Edelhide and Benimaru increasing attack plus 25%. 03 Elite Team, I don't know, here it seems that there is a bug, or maybe they changed it, I still don't know, but apparently you need only Duolon alone to get HP by 25%, but it should also include Ash and Chen Wu. But anyway, I don't know, if it's a bug then it will be fixed in the next update. If not, then that would be a great bonus actually. And the third fate, which is long hair, we need Duolon and Haomaru. Again, I think here we need also Robert 11, but I honestly don't know if it's gonna be, if they made it easier on purpose or if it's a bug. But if that's the case, then the three fates are readily accessible actually. It would be a great boost for him. If not, then it would just be like a regular API 15 fate. So I guess we'll find out in the next update. And well, his weapon, Furious Spirit, and he uses Gale Badge and Kickboxing Taunt. Now going to his fight soul, it's called the Spirit Viper Soul. Restore 40 rage when attacking and restore extra rage when being attacked. So it's a combination of a snake soul and a tortoise soul in one. Now starting with his skills, we start with the passive. Gain anti-crit and block. Increase his own damage resistance by 15%, which means decreasing all the damage taken except for the reflection damage, of course. When the allies are being attacked, share 20% of the damage they take. So this is the nice thing and the new thing about him, is that even if the allies were getting hit, then he will take 20% of the damage. Of course, reflecting damage and the damage taken by shield won't be shared, and this damage that he takes by sharing will decrease by 40%. So it's like he saves his allies from extra damage and he takes them instead, but instead this damage will be also attenuated, or it will be less by 40%. So that's a very nice feature actually. It's a new feature for any fighter in the game. And Duolon will no longer share damage when his HP goes below 20%. I mean, it makes sense. When his HP goes below 20%, it means that he's at risk, so he won't be able to share any more damage. And he gains a Spirit Protection effect if Duolon is in the front row, or if there is Duolon only on the own side when he's deployed. Increasing ultimate resistance and small skill resistance by 30%, and the buff decreases by 10% each round until it completely disappears. So this is one reason to use Duolon in the front row, because he will gain additional buff. What is this buff? As we've mentioned, ultimate resistance and skill resistance by 30%, and every round it decreases by 10% until it disappears after 3 rounds, which means Now, gain 3 points of spirit energy every time Duolon gets hit. Now here we're gonna see the spirit energy is in the form of a bar, kinda like Vice. It fills with purple. I'm gonna upload a screenshot to show it. It shows many, let's say, fragments of the bar, which means that he can accumulate points accordingly. Okay, so he can accumulate 100 points at most, and he will gain 2 points of spirit energy if Duolon shares damage for the ally every time the enemy attacks. So every time he shares energy, he will gain 2 points. If Duolon's HP is below 85% when the enemy rounds start, 20 points of this spirit energy will be consumed, and to restore 15% of his max HP. So it would, let's say, assure his survivability more if he has more points. Okay, Duolon won't die when he takes lethal damage. his debuff and petrification status will be cleared, and his 200 rage will be stored. So he restores also 200 rage, and he will enter the spectralization status, protecting Duolon against the next 5 lethal damage and being immune to debuff, during which his HP can't be restored. So what happens here is that, you know, he enters the spectralization status when he gets a fatal hit. He will, of course, we said, clear debuff, petrification, gain 200 rage. He can't restore HP in that moment, but he will be protected for the next 5 lethal damage. Now here I need to mention something, which is, it's not like Terrico. Actually, Terrico can resist 5 lethal damage in any round, but Duolon can only do this in 1 round. So as you can see here, the above effects only work until his next attack. So only for 1 round he will be able to resist the next 5 lethal hit. But after next round, no, when he receives a lethal hit, he will be dead. Okay, so just needed to mention this one thing to just not make it confusing. And when the status of spectralization ends, debuff and petrification status of Duolon will be cleared, and spirit protection effect will be added or refreshed. So he will be getting the spirit protection again, thus that buff we mentioned above, and the immunity to control and rage decreasing effect will be added to Duolon for 2 rounds. So he won't be able to be he won't be controlled and have his rage decreased for 2 rounds. Okay, so as you can see, at level 1 he has his anti-crit and block by 20%, which is actually high, and it can go higher. And I need to mention one slight thing about his lake element. For example, this value will be doubled for the first round, so he will be a massive blocker. In general, he is a great blocker, by the way, but especially in round 1 it would be amazing. His block rate would be really amazing. So yeah, now going to his minor skill. Attack a single enemy, decrease defense of all targets by 35% for 2 rounds. This is new because it goes for all enemies. And gain extra spirit energy by 20% for the next ultimate. Every point of spirit energy Duolon currently has will increase his small skill damage by 0.5%. So, you know, I think it's kind of hard to calculate how many points does he have, but we did mention that he can accumulate up to 100 spirit energies, okay, or points. So his maximum skill damage can reach 50%. Additional skill damage can reach 50%. The ally with the lowest HP percentage and Duolon himself will restore HP that equals 50% of the shared damage each time Duolon takes the shared damage in a round. This is actually pretty nice as well. So every time Duolon gets or shares damage, when, you know, as we said, when the enemy attacks an ally, and when Duolon shares the damage, then he can heal himself and the ally with the least HP as well by 50% of that shared damage. So it's nice. It's not a big buff, but it's still nice. Now, spirit summons, or the effect that can be activated when the weapon is awakened and when the ultimate is released. Again, this is something new because usually the weapon benefits the ultimate only, but here it also adds another thing to the minor skill. So when he makes his ultimate, after Duolon releases his ultimate, his next small skill and attack will attack the enemies in a column. So we did mention he attacks one opponent, but no, after he awakens his weapon, he will attack a column, and 80 points of spirit energy will be cost to restore 60% of his max HP. So he always exchanges those points for, I don't know, to regain more HP. This is what makes him a good tank, I would say, okay, in terms of regaining HP. And 30% of rage restoration speed and 5% of damage resistance will be added to Duolon for 1 round, and those effects can't be dispelled, and the rest of the effects of course remain the same. So those are additional effects actually. Okay, so that was his minor skill. Now going to his ultimate. Attack all enemies, increase own damage and resistance rate by 20%, and increase the crit of allies in the back row by 20%. The fewer the enemy's Duolon hit, the higher the damage will be. It can reach up to 110%, just the typical area damage. Gain 3 points of spirit energy, and when Duolon hits one target, if there is so he gains 3 points of spirit energy when Duolon hits one target. If there is only one fighter on both sides, he will gain 20 extra spirit energy points. So he does have a lot of means to increase his spirit energy points. Okay, now Duolon will gain extra effects according to his spirit energy points. So Here again, remember, he can accumulate up to 100 points at most. So if he has above than 20 points, he will increase his own attack and defense by 20%. If he have more than 40 points, the effects, of course, this effect will be also activated. In addition to that, the attack will deal 50% extra damage to each target hit by the sum of Duolon's attack and defense, ignoring the immunity to debuff, and won't restore rage to the targets. Here I need to stop at one point. So apparently they are trying to make him a tank and a DPS in a way, or let's say a damage dealer, to not say DPS, because they have been investing in his skills, or let's say they are taking a part of his skill to improve his damage. I'm gonna mention like what do I think about it in the end, but you know, just one more thing which is good in that, you know, the sum of his attack and defense, so he will cause additional damage according to the sum of his attack and defense. So anyway, regardless, it would be great to boost his defense first, in my opinion, because it will benefit him in either way. Okay, I'm gonna touch on that by the end of the video. And after the weapon awakens, the effect will be improved in all round way. Duolon will gain more buff according to the number of spirit energy points he has. So here we did mention like he gains additional effects. It has 20 points, 40 points, but when you awaken this weapon, he will gain extra buffs if he has more than 60 points and more than 80 points. Okay, so nothing much to say so far. But those are pretty much the skills of Duolon. Kinda new, kinda complex. It's just about the bar. It's about this spirit energy bar above his head. But yeah, you can see how he functions basically. So before I get to the more advanced stuff, I need to mention his gate partners, which are Benimaru, Kensu, and Shenwu. But here I'm not pretty sure, and nobody is quite pretty sure, because Shenwu has not made an appearance yet in the game. Especially because here we still don't know if he's gonna be an API 14 or an API 15. Okay, that's kind of the struggle, because I mean, Shenwu was supposed to be here before, but now they changed the gates and you know, the fates, and now we are not sure about the gate partners, so I can't be really 100% sure of the gate partners. Okay, so now just to say, is Duolon a good fighter or not? In my opinion, you know, it's really questionable here, because as a tank, he's very tanky. Again, he has a great block rate, a good anti-crit rate. He has a lot of ways to regain HP. He can resist death. As a tank, he's quite good, and especially the part where he absorbs damage from his allies, the damage that his allies get. This is actually great. So Duolon can behave as a wall, as a tough wall in your front row. This is why he is a good tank, I would say. But the thing that kinda bothered me about his skills is that they kinda made him mediocre by let's say mixing some part of his skills between defense and between making damage. I mean, this way they made him mediocre. If they focused more on his defense part, I'd say he would be really good and really recommended for a lot of teams. But because they did invest a part of his skills in his damage, which is not really reliable again, then I don't know. Here I would say they made him a bit mediocre. It's good that he is a tank that can do some good damage in a way, but still, I don't think, you know, if you really want damage, then you would most likely invest in a DPS or something else. That's just my opinion about it. So overall, he would be a good choice. He would really be a good choice if you want a good tank. But if you're really low on diamonds, if you have other plans, then I guess he can be skipped easily. He's not really a must-have fighter in my opinion. Okay, so I don't know if you guys agree or not, but that's really my opinion. I'd say he's not a must-have, but he is good. So of course, front or back, well, it says it all. I mean, he should be in the front because he would gain additional buff if he was at the front, and plus he's a wall. I told you before, he's a wall. He can absorb damage, so definitely put him at the front. It would be much better. Yeah, so I think this was it regarding his skills. Now just going to his runes, which are the recommended runes for him, I would say definitely you should go for the Protector Soul, because you have seen his passive. Basically, he has a high block rate and a high anti-crit rate. So imagine putting Protector Soul on him and giving him additional anti-crit and block, and you know, every time he blocks, he will regain more rage. So I think this is the best option for him, because he has other ways to regain HP. So I don't know, Protector seems like the best usage for him. You can also go for Heart of Thorns if you want, you can go for Earth's Heart if you want, but in my opinion I'd still say Protector Soul is the best. Okay, and you know, one more thing about his no, not this one, about the 5th Fight Soul. Which 5th Fight Soul is good for him? Again, I messed up. So yeah, here I would say Unyielding. It is the only possible option for him, I would say, because especially if you're gonna use Duolon, you will really invest in his defense and being a good tank. Okay, that's what you would care about. So go for Unyielding if he is your main tank. I don't know about Devil actually. It might be an option, but I just don't like this Fight Soul, honestly. It just doesn't feel that good. So I would say use Unyielding on him as a first choice, and up to you if you want to choose something else. Okay guys, I need to add one more thing, which is a recommendation from my friend Ayman. Of course, I give him a big hello. He says like, yeah, maybe we should focus more on the smacks in specific. Like, is the smacks recommended or not? Now, Duolon smacks, basically, instead of doing area damage, he will be attacking the one with the lowest HP, and the priority won't go for the strikers that joined the battle lately. It will go to the main fighters, which is something nice. Now, is it recommended or not? Honestly, I would say no. Why is that? Because his smacks kind of just gives him an improvement in the points, and as you've seen, it's just more ways of accumulating points. It's not really a game changer in my opinion. So if you're really struggling with getting him, I don't know, to 6 stars and investing a lot of power fragments in him and everything and getting a second weapon, I'd say no, his smacks is not really a game changer and you don't really need to go for his smacks. So yeah, that's just one more thing I will be adding to the character introduction videos. Of course, thanks to Ayman again for spotting the light on it. But yeah, let me know guys, what do you think about Duolon? Are you going for him or not? How do you think the Christmas event is gonna go, and which one we should be getting first? You know, we have a lot of questions, but hopefully we should be able to know the answer to them in the next few days. So yeah guys, until then, Merry Christmas again, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.